You wanna? All rise. Season 3, Episode 7, Black Friday, November 28th, 2025. Yes, sir. All clear. You may be seated. Good morning, everyone, and thank you once again for joining me inside the Pennsylvania College Basketball Court, or the PCBC for short. This is Season 3, Episode 7 of this wonderful podcast / series here on YouTube. Seasons 1 and 2 can be found in my Instagram page. Link is in the bio. I hope you guys had a wonderful Thanksgiving with your friends and family, as today we now transition to Black Friday. And then Season 3, Episode 8 will be filming on Cyber Monday, so this upcoming Monday, December 1st. I'm your host, the Honorable Judge Noah, reporting live from the main town and home base of the PCBC, Slippery Rock, Pennsylvania. In today's episode, we're going to be doing a recap of the 14 games that occurred over the first half of the week, right before Thanksgiving came out yesterday. Other games occurred between Monday through Wednesday. We'll give you the PSAC Athletes of the Week, and then we'll give you a recap of each game. Then we'll give you a preview of the 13 games that are scheduled for this upcoming weekend, starting tomorrow and Sunday. Then Episode 8 will be coming out with recapping those games from the upcoming games coming up this weekend for Episode 8. So without further ado, let's get Season 3, Episode 7 session underway. To start off, we have the PSAC Athletes of the Week for Week 2. So the East Division's Athlete of the Week was Marcus Frank out of Shippensburg. He's a guard and redshirt junior from Swickley, Pennsylvania. He averaged 24.5 points per game on 55.6% shooting from the field, 42.9% from three-point range, and a 2-0 week from the Raiders. The Shippensburg guard's best efforts came on last Friday over a previously unbeaten Wilmington, Delaware, winning 95-94, where he put out a season-best 32 points, shooting 56.5% from the floor, and the game-winning basket in overtime to beat the Wildcats at home. He scored a pair of fast break buckets to help the Raiders erase an 11-point deficit in the final 5 minutes of regulation, and put his own miss to give Shippensburg University the lead to cap the Raiders' comeback with under 10 seconds remaining in overtime. Additionally, he added on 17 points, shooting 7 of 13, 53.8% from the floor, and hitting game-winning free throws in Wednesday's win against Chestnut Hill. That was Wednesday, November 19th, when that game occurred. The Defensive Athlete of the Week goes to Dante Weiss out of Millersville. He's a guard and junior from Allentown, New Jersey. He totaled 9 rebounds, 4 steals, and a block shot, in addition to a career-high 20 points in a win over Jefferson, which occurred on the 19th as well. Came off the bench in both games and played outstanding defense, sparking Millersville's wins over previously undefeated Jefferson. In that game, Weiss helped Millersville, holding Jefferson to shooting 38.3% from the field and creating 17 turnovers. For the West, the Division Athlete of the Week goes to Bryce Baez out of Edinboro, Penn West Edinboro. He's a forward and senior from Las Palmas de Gran Canaria, Spain. He dominated on both ends of the floor, helping to find Scots to a pair of non-consecutive wins over both Point Park and Roberts Wesleyan. Averaging 20 points and 14 rebounds, he recorded double-doubles in both games, averaging 8 offensive boards per contest. Against Point Park, he notched 27 points, 13 rebounds, and a pair of assists. In the win against Roberts Wesleyan, he had 13 points with 15 rebounds, a pair of assists, blocks, and 1 steal. The Defensive Athlete of the Week for the West Division, Jeremy Thomas II out of Penn West Clarion. He's a forward and redshirt junior from Shippensburg, Pennsylvania. He recorded the only triple-double in Division II to date as of right now last week as part of the win over Frostburg State earlier in the week. He logged 10 points, 11 rebounds, and 10 assists in a 1-point win against Bobcats, making him the only player in the country to record a triple-double so far this year. He went on to have 2 blocks and 11 points in a loss to Lake Erie College last Saturday, November 22nd. So congratulations to those athletes who have been nominated for Athletes of the Week. Now, without further ado, let's get into the recapping of these games. So far, very good, I will say. We'll get to the recap, the overall records for each day here. So our first game came from Monday. It was number 3. They were ranked number 4 going into this game, but they have moved up one spot in the national rankings. They are now the number 3 team in the nation. That is the Damon Wildcats, traveling to the Convocation Center to take on the Vulcans of Penn West, California. In the first half, Damon, New York outscored California, Pennsylvania 33-31. Second half, Damon outscored California 50-33. The Wildcats winning 83-64. Damon improving to 7-0, while the Vulcans dropped to 1-4. So another rough start for the Vulcans this season. Player of the game is one of the best players in Division II this season, Benjamin Hill. He was ranked as the preseason favorite to win the East Coast Conference's Player of the Year and will most likely potentially be a first-team All-American this year in Division II. Benjamin Hill, in 31 minutes, he was 10 of 16 from the floor and 3 of 6 from the free throw line. He had a double-double with 11 rebounds, 2 assists, and a steal for 23 points. Zach Filipkowski had 20 points, 5 rebounds, and 3 assists with a steal. And Justin Hemphill also recorded a double-double for the Wildcats with 17 points, 12 rebounds, and 2 assists. In the first half, Damon, New York shot 40% from the floor, 29.4% from three-point range, and 0% from the free throw line because they did not take any free throw attempts. Second half, they shot 54.6% from the floor, 37.5% from three-point range, 73.3% from the free throw line. Overall, the Wildcats of Damon, New York shot 47.1% from the floor, 32% from three-point range, and 73.3% from the free throw line, with a technical foul being assessed to Justin Glover. For Penn West, California, player of the game is Antoine Arnett. In 38 minutes, he was 7 of 10 from the floor. He took 1 3-point field goal attempt and converted it successfully, going 1 of 1. And 3 out of 4 from the free throw line. He had 1 rebound, 2 blocks for 18 points. Braden Reynolds had 15 points, 1 rebound, 3 assists with 1 steal. And Jordan Buchanan had 12 points, 6 rebounds, a pair of blocks, and 1 steal. In the first half, Penn West, California shot 48.2% from the floor, 37.5% from three-point range, and 66.7% from the free throw line. Second half, they shot 46.2% from the floor, 11.1% from three-point range, and 61.5% from the free throw line. Overall, the Vulcans of Penn West, California shot 47.2% from the floor, 23.5% from three-point range, and 62.5% from the free throw line, with 2 technical fouls being assessed to Penn West, California, 1 to Antoine Arnett and 1 to Bryson Lucas. Game number 2. Penn State Fayette traveling to the Tippin Gymnasium in Clarion, Pennsylvania to take on Penn West Clarion. Easiest win of the day overall. And the second biggest win in terms of by total number of points for the first 3 days of this week. The first half, Penn West Clarion outscored Penn State Fayette 51-34. Second half, Clarion outscored Penn State Fayette 59-25. Clarion winning by 51 points, winning 110-59. Clarion improves to 3-2. Penn State Fayette suffers to 0-1. Actually, I believe I'll have to check their overall record this season, because technically PSAC has them 0-1. I think they're like, let's take a look, just to make sure, as I try to give you the most accurate records I possibly can. So with that loss, they dropped to 2 wins and 2 losses on the season. So they're 2-2 with that loss to Penn West Clarion. Player of the game for Penn State Fayette was Jesse Lawson Jr. In 27 minutes, he was 7 of 11 from the floor, 3 of 7 from three-point range, 3 out of 3 from the free throw line, had a pair of assists and a pair of steals for 20 points. Kama Mitchell, in 12 minutes, he had 12 points, 5 rebounds, and 3 steals for Penn State Fayette. In the first half, Penn State Fayette shot 46.4% from the floor, 37.5% from three-point range, and 100% from the free throw line, going 2 out of 2. Second half, though, they were very bad. They shot 23.5% from the floor. They went 8 of 34 overall from the shooting-wise in the second half. 15.8% from three-point range, going 3 of 19 from three-point range in the second half, and 75% from the free throw line, 6 out of 8. Overall, the Nittany Lions of Penn State Fayette shot 33.9% from the floor, 25.7% from three-point range, and 80% from the free throw line. For Penn West Clarion, my player of the game for the Golden Eagles will be Gavin Cote. 19 minutes, he was 5 of 11 from the floor, 3 of 7 from three-point range, 4 out of 6 from the free throw line. He had 3 rebounds, 2 assists, and a block for 17 points. Kenyon Peebles, he had 14 points, 4 rebounds, 1 assist, and 2 steals. Aiden Cunningham off the bench had 16 points, 1 rebound, 2 blocks, and 2 steals. Cam Crockett off the bench, he had 11 points, 11 rebounds, 3 assists, and a steal. And Justice Caesar, he had 10 points, 2 rebounds, 4 assists, and 3 steals. And look at that, my boy Brody McQuinston, who was one of my students when I did my field study, when I was a field student at Shenango in the fall of 2023, ended up playing 5 minutes. He hit his first career basket, which was a 3-point field goal attempt. He had 3 points for Penn West Clarion. They had a very good shooting day, I will say that, though, because in the first half, they shot 56.3% from the floor, 38.5% from three-point range, 76.9% from the free throw line. Second half, they shot 64.3% from the floor, 33.3% from three-point range, and 83.3% from the free throw line. Overall, the Golden Eagles of Penn West Clarion shot 60% from the floor, 36.4% from three-point range, and 81.1% from the free throw line. Also, right before when we get to our previews for this weekend's games, we will also have our next scouting report for IUP versus St. Thomas Aquinas, which will be coming up on Sunday afternoon. Next game. This was a close one. Lock Haven versus Roberts Wesleyan. This game was played at Thomas Fieldhouse in Lock Haven, Pennsylvania. First half, Roberts Wesleyan outscored Lock Haven 38-35. Second half, Commonwealth University of Lock Haven outscored Roberts Wesleyan 41-38. Needing overtime, Lock Haven outscored Roberts Wesleyan 12-7 in overtime. Lock Haven improves to 2-2. Roberts Wesleyan goes to drops to 1-4, with Lock Haven winning 88-83. My player of the game for the Red Hawks is Colin Woods. In 42 minutes, he was 7 of 14 from the floor, 4 of 9 from three-point range, and 2 out of 4 from the free throw line. Had 5 rebounds, 9 assists, 1 block, and 2 steals for 20 points. Keonjay Carter, he had 18 points, 5 rebounds, 2 assists, and a block. And Zach Hicks off the bench had 15 points, 2 rebounds, 1 assist, 4 blocks, and a steal. In the first half, Roberts Wesleyan shot 50% from the floor, 44.4% from three-point range, and 50% from the free throw line. Second half, 53.6% from the floor, 50% from three-point range, 42.9% from the free throw line. In overtime, they shot 27.3% from the floor, 20% from three-point range, 0% from the free throw line, going 0 of 1. Overall, the Red Hawks of Roberts Wesleyan shot 47.8% from the floor, 42.4% from three-point range, 41.7% from the free throw line. For the Bald Eagles of Commonwealth University of Lock Haven, my player of the game is Dean Coleman Newsom. In 40 minutes, he was 5 of 11 from the floor, 3 of 5 from three-point range, 6 out of 9 from the free throw line, 5 rebounds, 7 assists for a total of 19 points. Mike Green off the bench. No, not the guy who played for the Washington Capitals and the Detroit Red Wings, who played for over a decade in the NHL. But the Lock Haven's Mike Green had 18 points, 1 rebound, 2 assists off the bench. Dylan Scott had 16 points, 6 rebounds, 4 assists, and a steal. And Blake Deegan recorded a double-double, had 16 points, 11 rebounds, 1 assist, a block, and 2 steals. In the first half, Commonwealth University of Lock Haven shot 37.5% from the floor, 28.6% from three-point range, and 87.5% from the free throw line. Second half, they shot 42.9% from the floor, 50% from three-point range, 75% from the free throw line. In overtime, they shot 57.1% from the floor, 66.7% from three-point range, and 50% from the free throw line. Overall, the Bald Eagles of Commonwealth University of Lock Haven shot 41.9% from the floor, 42.4% from three-point range, and 75% from the free throw line. And the fourth and final game from Monday, November 24th, was Cheney versus Shippensburg. Former PSAC East and Powerhouse still currently hold the most PSAC titles in league history with 15. The IUP is catching right behind them. They're only 2 behind them at 13. In the first half, Shippensburg outscored Cheney 44-39. In the second half, Shippensburg outscored Cheney 54-37. Shippensburg getting an easy 22-point win over the Wolves, 98-76. The game was played at Hodges Fieldhouse in Shippensburg. Cheney drops to 1-3. Shippensburg improves to 4-1. Player of the game was former Wheeling Cardinal S.J. Hutchinson. 29 minutes, he was 5 of 9 from the floor, 0 of 3 from three-point range, 5 of 8 from the free throw line, 8 rebounds, 3 assists for 15 points. Joshua Blackman had 11 points, 7 rebounds, and a steal. In the first half, Cheney shot 44.7% from the floor, 18.2% from three-point range, 60% from the free throw line. Second half, they shot 40% from the floor, 11.1% from three-point range, 44.4% from the free throw line. Overall, the Wolves of Cheney shot 42.5% from the floor, 15% from three-point range, 47.8% from the free throw line. For Shippensburg, their player of the game, in my opinion, was Jaden Smith. In 30 minutes, he was 9 of 12 from the floor, 3 of 5 from three-point range, 2 of 5 from the free throw line, 9 rebounds, 1 assist, 1 block, and 1 steal for 23 points. Previously mentioned PSAC East Athlete of the Week, Marcus Frank, had 22 points, 3 rebounds for the Raiders. Michael Dixon had 18 points, 9 rebounds, 8 assists, and 3 steals, so he was very close to a triple-double for Shippensburg. In the first half, Shippensburg shot 46% from the floor, 12.5% from three-point range, 64.3% from the free throw line. Second half, they shot 51.7% from the floor, 50% from three-point range, 67.9% from the free throw line. Overall, the Raiders of Shippensburg shot 48.5% from the floor, 33.3% from three-point range, and 66.7% from the free throw line, with a technical foul being assessed to Shippensburg's Ben Rill. Overall, went 4-0, got every game correct from Monday, so off to a good start. And don't worry, it's only going to get better. Maybe. Moving on to the Tuesday games. So the first game that was played on Tuesday was Point Park and Pitt Johnstown. Game was played at UPJ Sports Center in Johnstown. In the first half, UPJ outscored Point Park 46-33. Second half, Pitt Johnstown outscored Point Park 46-42. Pitt Johnstown winning 92-75 over the Pioneers. Pitt Johnstown improves to 3-2. Point Park drops to 0-2 on the season. My player of the game for Point Park was Aiden Anderson. 36 minutes, it was 8 of 15 from the floor, 2 of 5 from three-point range, and 4 of 4 from the free throw line. 5 rebounds, 1 assist, 1 block, and 1 steal for 22 points. Grant Welch had 20 points, 1 rebound, 2 assists, and a steal. Keelan Allen had 12 points, 3 rebounds, 2 assists, and a steal. And Jaden Davis had 11 points, 2 rebounds, 6 assists, and 1 steal. In the first half, Point Park shot 37.5% from the floor, 18.8% from three-point range, and 100% from the free throw line, going 6 of 6. Second half, 50% from the floor, 46.7% from three-point range, 60% from the free throw line. Overall, the Pioneers of Point Park shot 43.8% from the floor, 32.3% from three-point range, 81.8% from the free throw line. For Pitt Johnstown, my player of the game was Baden Forup. 30 minutes was 9 of 16 from the floor and a perfect 7 of 7 from the free throw line. recorded a double-double. He had 11 rebounds, 2 assists, and 2 steals for 25 points. My Italian boy, Vinny Cugini, had 17 points, 9 rebounds, 2 assists, and 1 steal. Jay Rose off the bench had 15 points, 8 rebounds, 1 assist. Cedric Roll, 13 points, 2 rebounds, 4 assists, and 2 steals. And Adam Belinsky, 12 points, 2 rebounds, 5 assists, and 2 steals. I'll tell you this, if there's a sixth man of the year award right now, I would pick Jay Rose to be the favorite to win that award. In the first half, Pitt Johnstown shot 56.3% from the floor, 16.7% from three-point range, 90% from the free throw line. Second half, they shot 56.7% from the floor, 33.3% from three-point range, 61.1% from the free throw line. Overall, the Mountain Cats of Pitt Johnstown shot 56.5% from the floor, 22.2% from three-point range, and 71.4% from the free throw line, with a technical foul being assessed to Adam Belinsky. Next game, the Battle of Greensburg, Pennsylvania. These two schools are situated just a little over 3 miles between the two campuses. Pitt Greensburg and Seton Hill. These two teams met last year at Pitt Greensburg, so why not make the transition to the good old McKenna Center just across the road from South Greensburg. In the first half, Seton Hill outscored Pitt Greensburg 46-33. Second half, Seton Hill outscored Pitt Greensburg 53-44. Seton Hill wins the Battle of Greensburg yet again, winning 99-77 over their 3.4-mile rivals. Seton Hill improves to 5-0 in the season, while Pitt Greensburg suffers to 5-1. For Pitt Greensburg, their player of the game was Trent Rosick. In 32 minutes, he was 5 of 8 from the floor, 2 of 3 from three-point range, 7 of 9 from the free throw line, 9 rebounds, 2 assists for 19 points. Josiah Wyatt Taylor had 16 points, 3 rebounds, and 1 assist off the bench. And Michael Bigley had 10 points, 4 rebounds, 3 assists, and 1 block. In the first half, Pitt Greensburg shot 36.4% from the floor, 36.4% from three-point range, 83.3% from the free throw line. Second half, they shot 42.4% from the floor, 40% from three-point range, 71.4% from the free throw line. Overall, the Bobcats of Pitt Greensburg shot 39.4% from the floor, 38.5% from three-point range, and 75% from the free throw line. For Seton Hill, this is going to be a new name. My player of the game is Rashad Williams. 35 minutes, he was 8 of 14 from the floor, 2 of 4 from three-point range, 8 rebounds, 4 assists, 1 block, and 3 steals for 18 points. Demetrios Skelavintius had 18 points as well, with 2 rebounds and 1 steal. Adair Ortiz had a double-double. He had 16 points, 15 rebounds, 4 assists, 2 blocks, and 3 steals. Kendrick Curtis had 14 points, 10 rebounds, 2 assists, 1 block, and 1 steal, so 2 double-doubles for the Griffins. Brandon Corey off the bench had 12 points, 6 rebounds, 2 assists, and a steal. And Gabe Gillespie had 10 points, 7 rebounds, 2 assists. In the first half, Seton Hill shot 44.7% from the floor, 30% from three-point range, 60% from the free throw line. Second half, they shot 46.5% from the floor, 33.3% from three-point range, and 62.5% from the free throw line. Overall, the Griffins of Seton Hill shot 45.7% from the floor, 31.6% from three-point range, and 61.3% from the free throw line. Game number 3 of 7, Glenville State versus Slippery Rock at the Morrow Fieldhouse, just about 5 minutes from the filming site of the PCBC. Also, the place I ended up graduating twice on that. I ended up graduating on that beautiful court twice. High school in 2018, and then just graduated last year from Slippery Rock University. In the first half, Slippery Rock outscored Glenville State 46-38. In the second half, Slippery Rock outscored Glenville State 46-43. Slippery Rock winning 92-81 over Glenville State. The Rock improves to 4-1, while the Pioneers dropped to 2-2. Their player of the game was Amir Maxwell. 40 minutes, he was 6 of 14 from the floor, 1 of 3 from three-point range, 3 of 5 from the free throw line. Recorded a double-double with 10 rebounds, 4 assists, and 2 steals for 16 points. Elijah Redfern had 16 points, 4 rebounds, and 3 assists. Prince Masengo had 14 points, 2 rebounds, and a block. Jalen Knott had 13 points, 5 rebounds, 3 assists, 2 blocks, and 3 steals. Don Colin Lewis had 11 points, 5 rebounds, 2 assists, 1 block, and 1 steal. So all their starters had double-digit points. In the first half, Glenville State shot 37.1% from the floor, 33.3% from three-point range, 75% from the free throw line. Second half, they shot 43.2% from the floor, 29.4% from three-point range, 75% from the free throw line. Overall, the Pioneers of Glenville State shot 40.3% from the floor, 31.4% from three-point range, 75% from the free throw line, with a technical foul being assessed to Rye Gadd. For Slippery Rock, their player of the game was R.J. Sledge, one of 3 key freshmen this season, true freshmen for Slippery Rock this year. In 26 minutes off the bench, he was 7 of 10 from the floor, 4 of 7 from three-point range, 8 of 9 from the free throw line, 2 rebounds, 4 assists, and a steal for 26 points. Isaac James, 35, had 16 points, 9 rebounds, 4 assists, and a steal. Brady Mayo, another true freshman, had 15 points, 7 rebounds, and assists with 2 steals. Ike Cursor, 11 points, 2 rebounds, 1 assist, 1 block, and 2 steals. And yet again, Maceo Austin is still not playing. Man, I feel like he's going to be in college till he's like in his mid-30s at this point. Anyways, in the first half, Slippery Rock shot 45.5% from the floor, 40% from three-point range, 90.9% from the free throw line. Second half, they shot 57.1% from the floor, 50% from three-point range, 72% from the free throw line. Overall, the Rock of SRU shot 50% from the floor, 43.5% from three-point range, 77.8% from the free throw line, with a technical foul being assessed to R.J. Sledge. Tell you this, Ike Cursor's playing more games than Maceo Austin. That's pretty impressive. Next game, Millersville and Wilson College. Another really easy win. An easy game I got correct. In the first half, Millersville outscored Wilson 55-27. Second half, Millersville outscored Wilson 41-31. Millersville winning 96-58. I never even heard of Wilson College until I literally just did research the other day. I'm like, where is this team from? Oh, never knew that. But they win 96-58 over Wilson. The Marauders improved to 3-2 while the Phoenix dropped to 1-5. They play out of the United East. Never even heard of that conference. For Wilson, their player of the game was a pretty easy pick. It's Armani Jones. 25 minutes, he was 6 of 12 from the floor, 0 of 2 from three-point range, 1 of 1 from the free throw line, 6 rebounds, 2 assists, and a block for 13 points. He was the only player for the Phoenix that had double-digit points. In the first half, Wilson College shot 32.1% from the floor, 36.4% from three-point range, 83.3% from the free throw line. Second half, they shot 25.7% from the floor, 10% from three-point range, and 75% from the free throw line. Overall, the Phoenix of Wilson College shot 28.6% from the floor, 23.8% from three-point range, and 77.3% from the free throw line. For Millersville, their player of the game, I've not mentioned this guy yet, but I had him as my preseason favorite to win the PSAC East Defensive Player of the Year, or at least had him as one of my names mentioned. Caesar Shalumbo. In 20 minutes, he was 8 of 11 from the floor and 3 of 5 from the free throw line. He recorded a double-double with 13 rebounds, 2 assists for 19 points. Jay Waters had 13 points with 8 rebounds, 1 block. Carnell Henderson off the bench had 13 points, 2 rebounds, and 3 steals. Amir Hurst had 12 points, 3 rebounds, 1 assist, 1 block, and 1 steal. And Elazar Matthews Spratley had 11 points, 3 rebounds, 2 assists, and 3 steals. In the first half, Millersville shot 47.7% from the floor, 23.1% three-point range, 76.9% from the free throw line. Second half, they shot 46.9% from the floor, 18.2% from three-point range, 81.8% from the free throw line. Overall, the Marauders of Millersville shot 47.4% from the floor, 20.8% from three-point range, and 79.2% from the free throw line. Next game, Penn West Edinburgh and Malone University. This game was played just across the border at the Osborne Hall in Canton, Ohio. In the first half, Malone outscored Edinburgh 35-28. In the second half, Malone outscored Edinburgh 45-31. Malone winning 80-59, so a 21-point win for them. You guessed it, another team called the Pioneers. What else is new? So the Pioneers improved to 3-1. Fighting Scots dropped to 2-3. For Penn West Edinburgh, their player of the game, in my opinion, was Rowan Carmichael. 32 minutes off the bench. He was 9-14 from the floor, 5 of 8 from three-point range, 1 of 2 from the free throw line. 1 rebound, 4 assists, and a steal for 24 points. Evan Berger had 14 points, 3 rebounds, and a steal. In the first half, Penn West Edinburgh shot 35.5% from the floor, 29.4% from three-point range, 50% from the free throw line. Second half, they shot 40% from the floor, 18.2% from three-point range, 55.6% from the free throw line. Overall, the Fighting Scots of Penn West Edinburgh shot 37.7% from the floor, 25% from three-point range, 54.5% from the free throw line. For Malone, their player of the game, in my opinion, was Josiah Pierre. In 33 minutes, he was 5 of 8 from the floor, 0 of 1 from three-point range, and a perfect 6 of 6 from the free throw line. 9 rebounds, 1 assist, 2 steals for 16 points. Nick Williams had 15 points, 2 rebounds, 2 assists, and a steal. And Emmanuel Oladeru had 14 points, 13 rebounds, and a steal. In the first half, Malone, Ohio, shot 50% from the floor, 33.3% from three-point range, 83.3% from the free throw line. Second half, they shot 62.1% from the floor, 40% from three-point range, 70% from the free throw line. Overall, the Pioneers of Malone, Ohio, shot 56.1% from the floor, 36.4% from three-point range, 75% from the free throw line. Next game, East Stroudsburg versus Georgian Court. Battle of previously undefeated teams. The game was played at the Kohler Fieldhouse in East Stroudsburg. In the first half, East Stroudsburg outscored Georgian Court 55-35. In the second half, East Stroudsburg outscored Georgian Court 51-49. East Stroudsburg earning a 22-point win, winning 106-84. The Warriors improved to 4-0, while the Lions dropped to 4-1 on the season. My player of the game for the Lions was Cam Edmonds. In 33 minutes, he was 7 of 16 from the floor, 1 of 6 from three-point range, 10 of 13 from the free throw line, 5 rebounds, 1 assist, and a steal for 25 points. Jason Satushi had 18 points, 3 rebounds, and 1 assist with 3 blocks. And Anthony Rivera had 10 points, 2 assists, 2 rebounds, 3 assists. In the first half, Georgian Court shot 37.5% from the floor, 20% three-point range, and a perfect 100% from the free throw line, going 9 out of 9. Second half, they shot 53.9% from the floor, 16.7% from three-point range, and 62.5% from the free throw line. Overall, the Lions of Georgian Court shot 46.5% from the floor, 18.2% from three-point range, and 82.4% from the free throw line. For East Stroudsburg, my player of the game is the beloved nickname Boogie Cousins of DeMarcus Cousins of the PSAC. That would be Kevin Coleman, known for his number of technical fouls he had last season with Commonwealth University of Lock Haven. That's besides the point. In 21 minutes, he was 9 of 12 from the floor and 1 of 4 from the free throw line. 8 rebounds, 3 assists, 2 blocks, and 2 steals for 19 points. Adrian Brito off the bench had 16 points, 6 rebounds, 6 assists, 1 block, and a steal. Kenny Williams had 13 points, 4 rebounds, 6 assists, and 1 steal off the bench. Jalen Pichardo had 10 points, 4 rebounds, and 1 assist with a steal. And Terrell Pitts off the bench had 10 points, 5 rebounds, and an assist with 1 steal. In the first half, East Stroudsburg shot 48.8% from the floor, 36.4% from three-point range, and 60% from the free throw line. Second half, they shot 8.7% from the floor, 27.3% from three-point range, and 62.5% from the free throw line. Overall, the Warriors of East Stroudsburg shot 48.8% from the floor, 31.8% from three-point range, 61.3% from the free throw line. And the last game from Tuesday was Commonwealth University of Bloomsburg taking on Penn State Scranton. In the first half, Bloomsburg outscored Penn State Scranton 45-24. Second half, Bloomsburg outscoring Penn State Scranton 41-21. Bloomsburg getting a very easy win for their first win of the season, winning 86-45. Crazy enough, it'll probably want to be a handful of wins for Bloomsburg this year. Player of the game, this is going to be a first one. This is a rare air moment. We're going to go with Christian Brown. They had 3 players with 7 points. That was their highest scoring total number of points for a player was 7 points. But Christian Brown's my player of the game. 15 minutes, he was 3 of 6 from the floor and 1 of 1 from three-point range. He had 4 rebounds and 2 steals for 7 points. Elijah Bryant and Xavier Noble both also had 7 points for Penn State Scranton. In the first half, Penn State Scranton shot 25% from the floor, 23.8% from three-point range, and 50% from the free throw line. Second half, they shot 25.7% from the floor, 12.5% from three-point range, and 50% from the free throw line. Overall, the Nittany Lions of Penn State Scranton shot 25.4% from the floor, 18.9% from three-point range, and 50% from the free throw line. They shot 18 of 71 overall, and 7 of 37 from three-point range, also known as a lot of bricks, a lot of missed attempts. For Commonwealth University of Bloomsburg, the player of the game, in my opinion, is going to be George Sabatini, although Reese Nagel also had 13 points. But Sabatini in 23 minutes, he was 6 of 12 from the floor, 0 of 1 from three-point range, and 1 of 1 from the free throw line. He had a double-double with 13 points, 13 rebounds, and a block. Reese Nagel had 13 points, 5 rebounds, a block, and 1 steal. Courtney Davis, the second, had 11 points, 3 rebounds, 6 assists, and a steal. In the first half, Commonwealth University of Bloomsburg shot 45.5% from the floor, 33.3% three-point range, 62.5% from the free throw line. Second half, they shot 36.4% from the floor, 28.6% three-point range, 41.7% from the free throw line. Overall, the Huskies of Commonwealth University of Bloomsburg shot 40.3% from the floor, 31% from three-point range, and 53.6% from the free throw line. So good first win for the Huskies. And a perfect 7-0 record for Tuesday. So off to an 11-0 start so far. Unfortunately, that undefeated streak would end up breaking thanks to the great university located in Shepherdstown, West Virginia, known as Shepherd. But so far, this was the only game I'm actually going to get incorrect out of the 13 games that I've predicted so far. So at least we're getting the 1 L out of the way. That would be against their rival Frostburg State, just across the road, about an hour and a half on I-68. In the first half, Frostburg State outscored Shepherd 50-37. Second half, Frostburg State outscored Shepherd 55-46. Bobcats winning 105-83 over the Rams. Frostburg State improves to 2-2. Shepherd drops to 3-2. My player of the game for Shepherd, pretty easy pick, Colby White. In 31 minutes, he was 11 of 18 from the floor, 7 of 11 from three-point range, 2 of 3 from the free throw line. 3 rebounds, 3 assists for 31 points. Marcus Banks had 19 points, 4 rebounds, 7 assists, and 2 steals. And Duada Traore had 10 points, 4 rebounds, 1 assist, and 1 steal. In the first half, Shepherd shot 51.7% from the floor, 66.7% from three-point range, 25% from the free throw line. Second half, they shot 54.8% from the floor, 27.3% from three-point range, 69.2% from the free throw line. Overall, the Rams of Shepherd shot 53.3% from the floor, 45% from three-point range, and 58.8% from the free throw line. You guessed it, for Frostburg State, my player of the game, yet again, is Mike Montano. I think it's the 4th time I've talked about him this year. At least the 3rd time I've talked about him as player of the game. After going off for 41 points last week against Clarion with 18 rebounds. He did very well in this game yet again. 37 minutes, he was 11 of 20 from the floor, 1 of 3 from three-point range, 2 of 3 from the free throw line. 9 rebounds, 5 assists, and 2 steals for 25 points, averaging 31.3 points and 13.5 rebounds through his first 4 games of the season. Trey Simmons had 23 points, 4 rebounds, 2 assists, and 3 steals. Kyle Whippen had 22 points, 7 rebounds, 1 assist, 1 block, and a steal. And Mitch Feinfrock, love that name, had 16 points, 1 rebound, and a steal. In the first half, Rossburg State shot 50% from the floor, 50% three-point range, 66.7% from the free throw line. Second half, 60.6% from the floor, 50% three-point range, 81.8% from the free throw line. Overall, the Bobcats of Frostburg State shot 54.8% from the floor, 50% three-point range, 78.6% from the free throw line. Next game, I'm not going to count this. I'm not going to penalize Gannon. I'm not going to penalize myself because this game I didn't even know was on the schedule until I looked on Tuesday. Was Gannon and Lake Superior State. Battle of these two teams met last year in Florida. Lake Superior State won that game pretty easily. In a rematch of two teams that went to the Sweet 16 last season. This game was played in Flint, Michigan at Mott Community College. In the first half, Gannon outscored Lake Superior State 45-40. In the second half, Lake Superior State, located in Sioux State, Marie, Michigan, right near the border of the International Bridge, just where the end of I-75 is. Right at the final 394 miles from the Ohio State line on I-75. But anyways, Lake Superior State outscored Gannon 59-42. Lakers winning 99-87 over the Gannon Golden Knights, who were previously ranked, who entered this week as the 9th best team in the nation. Lake Superior State improves to 2-3. Gannon drops to 3-1 on the season. For Lake Superior State, my player of the game goes to Omar Suleiman. He had 32 minutes, was 3 of 9 from the floor, 2 of 7 three-point range, 11 of 13 from the free throw line, 6 rebounds, 3 assists, 1 block, and 2 steals for 19 points. Dino Carter-Smith had 16 points, 3 rebounds, and 7 assists. Don Douglas had 13 points, 5 rebounds, 1 assist in 8 minutes. Very impressive. Dominic Kryzowiak had 11 points, 4 rebounds, and assists with 1 steal. And Tyler Jamison had 10 points, 2 rebounds, 1 assist, and 1 steal. In the first half, Lake Superior State shot 44% from the floor, 33.3% three-point range, 77.8% from the free throw line. Second half, they shot 64.3% from the floor, 71.4% three-point range, and 75% from the free throw line. Overall, the Lakers of Lake Superior State shot 54.7% from the floor, 47.4% from three-point range, and 76.2% from the free throw line. For Gannon, their player of the game was Pace Prosser. Believe me, if you haven't heard that name yet, get used to it because that's like the 3rd time I've mentioned him too this year. In 33 minutes, he was 7 of 16 from the floor, 3 of 10 from three-point range, 8 of 10 from the free throw line, 3 rebounds, 4 assists, 1 block, and 1 steal for 25 points. Lucas Morgan had 17 points, 7 rebounds, 1 assist, and 1 steal. His brother, Mackenzie Morgan, had 11 points, 3 rebounds, 1 assist, and 1 steal. Carter Ramsley had 11 points, 2 rebounds in 13 minutes. Precious Adiaru had 10 points, 2 assists for Gannon. In the first half, Gannon shot 45.2% from the floor, 33.3% three-point range, 61.1% from the free throw line. Second half, they shot 32.4% from the floor, 16.7% from three-point range, 85% from the free throw line. Overall, the Golden Knights of Gannon shot 38.5% from the floor, 25.7% from three-point range, and 73.7% from the free throw line. And the last game to recap was the easiest win of the week so far, and easiest win in probably the PCBC's history so far. I'd have to double check that, but I'm 95% sure that's accurate. Was Westchester versus Immaculata out of the Atlantic East Conference. Another conference I never even heard. Oh wait, no, I had talked about them. I'm pretty sure, wait, let me go back. No, that's Unites. Nope, never heard of the Yankees here. Anyways, that's the point. They're a D3 school. This is Immaculata University. Never even heard of them until this game. In the first half, Westchester outscored Immaculata 62-23. Second half, Westchester outscored Immaculata 66-36. Westchester winning 128-59, a 69-point win over Immaculata. Westchester improves to 4-1, while Immaculata drops to 1-5. Player of the game, my player of the game for the Mighty Macs, as they're called, pretty cool name, is Jeremiah Alexander. In 15 minutes, he was 3 of 7 from the floor, 0 of 2 from three-point range, 4 of 5 from the free throw line, 3 rebounds for a total of 10 points. And Kevin Tellisford had 10 points with 1 personal foul and 3 turnovers. In the first half, Immaculata shot 22.2% from the floor, 18.8% from three-point range, and 53.3% from the free throw line. Second half, they shot 44.8% from the floor, 30.8% from three-point range, and 60% from the free throw line. Overall, the Mighty Macs of Immaculata University shot 33.9% from the floor, 24.1% from three-point range, and 56% from the free throw line. 9 players for Westchester recorded double-digit points, but my player of the game goes to Jay Sean Williams. 22 minutes off the bench, was 6 of 10 from the floor, 3 of 5 from three-point range, and 2 out of 2 from the free throw line. 3 rebounds, 2 assists, and 5 steals for 17 points. 3 players put 12 points. Ruben Rodriguez had 12 points. Xavier Van and Gavin Dillon all had 12 points. Dylan Blair and Joe Sidora had 11 points. And Luke Boyd, Dinian Boykin, and Gabe Moss all had 10 points. In the first half, Westchester shot 46.7% from the floor, 25% from three-point range, 81% from the free throw line. Second half, 65.1% from the floor, 16.7% from three-point range, 60% from the free throw line. Overall, the Golden Rams of Westchester shot 55.7% from the floor, 22.2% from three-point range, and 72.2% from the free throw line. Went 1 out of 2 on Wednesday, so 12 out of 13 games I've gotten correct so far. We're, again, not counting the Gannon Lake Superior State game because that game I did not know until Tuesday, so that game is going to be voided. Not going to count that. Moving on to the games for tomorrow. 12 o'clock game. It is Clarion traveling to Damon. That's going to be an interesting game. We'll see how that goes. These two teams were supposed to meet last year, but unfortunately this thing called lake effect snow, I guess not for Clarion, but they had pretty bad snowstorm. They ended up canceling this game between these two teams last season. They were supposed to play at the Tippin Gymnasium. Pair of 2 o'clock games. California traveling to Wilmington, Delaware. Seton Hill traveling to Glenville State. 4 o'clock game, Pitt Johnstown at Davis and Elkins. Pair 5 and 7 o'clock game in Erie at the Highmark Event Center. This is the 41st annual Gary Miller Classic. It was supposed to be played last year, but due to this thing called lake effect snow in Erie, ended up getting canceled. I would not be surprised if it actually gets canceled yet again this year because they're supposed to get between 7 to 19 inches of snow in Erie this weekend. So we'll have to wait and see if those 2 games, if they actually play all these games, pair of 4 games coming up this weekend. If so, we'll do the recap of those games. If not, well, it is what it is, I guess. But the 5 o'clock game is Virginia State versus Gannon, and the 7 o'clock game is Mansfield versus Lake Erie College. So actually there were 6 games on the schedule. Yeah, 6 games on the schedule. The winner of those 2 games of the Gary Miller Classic, between Virginia State and Gannon, Mansfield and Lake Erie College. I'm going to give you my predictions on who I think will win each of those games, but I might be wrong. But if we do, then we'll change it from there. Moving on to the Sunday games. A pair of 1 o'clock games, St. Thomas Aquinas versus IEP, which we'll talk about here in just a moment. Give you my scouting report for that. Another 1 o'clock game, Slippery Rock traveling to Deauville, going to Buffalo. 2 o'clock game is going to be the Gary Miller consolation game. So the 2 losers from tomorrow. My prediction, it's going to be Mansfield versus Virginia State in the consolation game. 3 o'clock game, Teal College out of Greenville, Pennsylvania, traveling to Edinburgh. Penn State Hazleton traveling to Bloomsburg, so not too far of a drive. 4 o'clock game is going to be the Gary Miller Championship game, which my prediction is going to be Lake Erie College versus Gannon. That's going to be a good game. And then the 4 o'clock game, Mercy versus East Stroudsburg. So I'll give you my predictions on each of those games now. Let's just rock and roll and get it out of the way. For seeing Clarion versus Damon, I'm easily going to pick Damon. I think they'll win that game very easily. California versus Wilmington, Delaware, I'm going to pick Penn West Cal to pull off an upset. Seton Hill and Glenville State, I'm rocking and rolling with Seton Hill. They are doing terrific this season. I don't see why they would struggle against Glenville State, but you never know. Pitt Johnstown, Davidson Elkins, give me Pitt Johnstown. Virginia State versus Gannon, that's going to be Gannon winning that game pretty easily. And then Mansfield versus Lake Erie, another easy pick, give me Lake Erie. We'll actually give you my P and St. Thomas game last. SRU and DUville, SRU will win that game very easily. Teal versus Edinburgh, I'm going to go with Edinburgh. Penn State Hazleton versus Bloomsburg, give me Bloomsburg to win a second straight game. I know it's kind of crazy. Mercy versus East Stroudsburg, give me East Stroudsburg to win that game very easily. The consolation game is that I projected Virginia State versus Mansfield, give me Virginia State. And then championship game, Lake Erie versus Gannon. Oh, man, that's going to be tough. Give me Gannon to win that game barely. I'm going to say within 5 points. Although I would not be surprised if Lake Erie wins that game, if it ends up being the championship game. Now, moving on to the game scouting report for Sunday's game between IUP and St. Thomas Aquinas. Going into this matchup, IUP's all-time record is 1,527 wins versus 810 losses, a 653 winning percentage all time. St. Thomas Aquinas is 3-2 overall this season. IUP is 3-1. This is the third all-time meeting between these two programs. The series is tied at 1. Last time these two teams met was just over 2 years ago. St. Thomas Aquinas beat IUP at the Kovalchik 81-64. This game is scheduled for Sunday, November 30th. It is a 1 p.m. start at the good old KCAC, Kovalchik Convention Athletic Complex in Indiana, Pennsylvania. The distance between St. Thomas Aquinas College to the Kovalchik Convention Athletic Complex is 340 miles or 547.2 kilometers. Just over 5-hour drive between these, just south of in the northern part of New Jersey and southern tip of New York, just outside of New York City. So it's a pretty long drive for St. Thomas Aquinas. On to my 7 key elements of the Honorable Judge Noah's Fundamentals of Basketball. Again, I talked about this 2 episodes ago. It's based off of the 7 key statistics that I think are the most important: points per game, defensive points per game allowed, field goal percentage, 3-point field goal percentage, free throws percentage, rebounding, and assist to turnover ratio. Points per game, IUP has the advantage, 87.3 points per game. They're ranked 9th in the PSAC. St. Thomas Aquinas is number 1 in their conference, in the East Coast Conference, at 85.2, but the point goes to IUP. Defensive points per game allowed, IUP is number 2, almost number 1 actually, in points per game allowed, just under 70 points per game at 69.8. St. Thomas Aquinas is number 4 in their conference at 84 points per game allowed. That's pretty crazy. That'd be like I'm pretty sure it's bottom 5 in the PSAC right now. But the advantage in point goes to IUP. Field goal percentage is tied at 50.2%, but the advantage and point is going to go to St. Thomas Aquinas because they're number 1 in the East Coast Conference. IUP is 3rd in the PSAC. Can you imagine if both these teams tied first? I would actually have to give them no points. And I would have just I would have had to do 6 points for this one, but thankfully no needed for that. 3-point field goal percentage, IUP is 5th in the conference at 37.1%. St. Thomas Aquinas is 5th in the East Coast Conference at 31%. The point goes to IUP's higher field goal percentage. Free throw percentage, give the point already to St. Thomas Aquinas. They are 69.4% from the free throw line. They're tied for 5th in their conference. IUP is clearly dead last. They're the only team shooting under 60% from the free throw line. 56% to be exact. So the point goes to St. Thomas Aquinas. Rebounding is pretty close. IUP does get the point, though. They're 38.3 rebounds per game. St. Thomas Aquinas is at 37, which is 3rd in their conference. IUP is 11th in the PSAC in rebounding. So the point goes to IUP because they have more rebounds. Assist to turnover ratio, IUP easily gets the point. 1.51 assists per turnover. That's 3rd in their conference. St. Thomas Aquinas is tied for 4th at 0.84. So overall, IUP is actually pretty favored in this matchup. Like I said, it's just a little statistic. There can be outliers. Last week, when we did the scouting report for Ashland and IUP had earned 6 out of the 7 key elements and lost by 2 points. So it is flawed. It's not perfect. It's just one of those weird statistic things. IUP's top 3 scorers, no changes to the top 3. Dallas Stillard still leads the way, averaging 17.5 points, 4.8 rebounds per game, shooting 42.1% from the floor, 34.8% three-point range. Second highest scorers, Kamani Marrero, averaging 15.5 points, 1.3 rebounds per game. Still shooting the ball very well, 59.5% from the floor and 47.1% three-point range. He's having an Ethan Porterfield sophomore kind of year when he was shooting like 47% from three-point range. Third highest scorer is Christian Moore, averaging 13.3 points and 1.5 rebounds per game, shooting 47.6% from the floor and 35.5% from three-point range. For the St. Thomas Aquinas Spartans, their top 3 scorers, leading the way is number 2, a 6'2" guard and redshirt junior from Carteret, New Jersey, and played his high school ball at Carteret. Sterrell Hearns. He is averaging 15.6 points and 5.8 rebounds per game, shooting 50% from the floor and 38.9% from three-point range. Their second highest scoring player is number 8, is 6'8" center and senior from Hagerstown, Maryland, plays high school ball at St. Maria Goretti. We've talked about them before. Jordan Green. He's averaging 14.6 points, 3.8 rebounds per game, shooting 68.2% from the floor, 0% three-point range going so far. He's 0 of 1 from three-point range this season. Third highest scoring player is number 4, a 6'6" guard and redshirt sophomore from Gig Harbor, Washington. Plays high school ball at Gig Harbor, just on the other side of the coast. And that was William Landrum II. Averaging 12.4 points, 5.6 rebounds, and shooting 47.7% from the floor, 35.5% from three-point range. On to the 3 keys of the game. STA. Number 1, S, starts with free throws. You gotta, if I'm IUP, you gotta make sure you hit these free throws because later on the season, and especially against these PSAC West teams, they're going to come back and haunt them for these missed free throw attempts. So they definitely have got to, hopefully they have worked on hitting these free throws because they got to figure this out sooner rather than later. T, take away their ability to get easy shots. Again, they're number 1 in the East Coast Conference, 50% overall from the floor. So they got to find a way to create tough shots for them so that it's an easier advantage for IUP because they have the advantage in rebounding. And A, attack the paint. Again, IUP is very good in terms of getting to the rim, especially with Demir Brooks. He's gotten a dunk in at least every game this season. So if they can attack the paint and shut down Jordan Green, it'll be a very easy game for IUP. I think IUP can get revenge for their 17-point loss from 2 years ago. With that being said, the final game and prediction is this game, St. Thomas Aquinas versus IUP. I think IUP is going to bounce back against St. Thomas Aquinas. They got a very easy win last week, a 28-point win over DUville. I think IUP will find a way to win this game. I think it's going to be a little bit closer than people think, but I think IUP finds a way to win this game at home right after the Thanksgiving break. I think their free throw percentage and their free throw shooting will be a lot better in this game compared to the 2 games over the past weekend where they were shooting under 50% under 60% from the free throw line. So give me IEP to beat St. Thomas Aquinas. With that being said, that's going to complete this episode of the PCBC. I will see you guys on Monday for Season 3, Episode 8, to recap the 13 games that are potential 13 games, depending on if the weather holds up in Erie for the Gary Miller Classic. Until then, I'm your host, the Honorable Judge Noah, reporting live from Shipwreck, Pennsylvania, saying so long and have a great rest of your Black Friday and have a great rest of your weekend. And I'll see you guys on Cyber Monday.